In 2020, you may have noticed on social media a big rise and trend in the number of bootleg Jordan 1's. Many new designers and brands are putting their own creative spin and unique touches on the classic Nike silhouettes. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about one of the biggest sneaker trends in 2020, and that is the rise of the bootleg Jordan 1's, as well as a few other Nike silhouettes, such as like the Air Forces and the Nike Dunks. To break down this video, I'm going to be talking about a few of the new brands which are smashing it in the market with their unique creative designs. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of bootleg sneakers, because honestly, it's been going around for about the past 20 to even 25 years. And then finally, we'll talk about my personal opinion on these bootleg shoes, as well as trying to get you involved as more of a discussion in the comment section down below. But before we jump into the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on a single video. But let's jump into it. So what is bootleg? So bootleg is a term which is really misconceived in fashion. People sometimes think bootleg means fake, and I can tell you that it is completely different. Bootleg is when a company or a designer uses another brand's like logos or silhouettes to kind of make their own creative piece. So for example, it is seen a lot of in the vintage market. I've got a piece right here. This is a bootleg Tommy Hilfiger sweatshirt. So as you can see, it's not an authentic tag, but what they've done is they've used the Tommy Hilfiger like logos, etc. to make their own creative piece, and look how insane the details are on the neck. And sometimes these bootleg pieces can come across better than the originals. And another good thing why bootlegs are really popular is they're a lot rarer. So there's not many of them in the market, and they usually are a lot more creative and have better details. But I can understand on the opposite hand, people are then profiting using someone else's brand, and which is why people don't like bootlegs. So now we're going to jump into a few of the brands which have really been trending in 2020 with the whole bootleg Jordan 1's. I have 6 different brands to show you. So the first brand we're going to talk about is called Fugazi or Fugazi. So these are called the One in the Chamber shoes. They have some insane details. They have a wanted poster as the shoe paper. They have bullet holes on the toe cap. They have a suede gun instead of the Nike tick. They have a paisley pattern on both sides of the shoe, as well as bullets. And then they have the One in the Chamber logo instead of the Jordan logo. Metal lace ends to replicate bullets, and they have the wanted poster on the inside of the tongue. So next up we have from Ari, New York. Huge shout out to Ray, go check out his channel. These are called the Empire State Highs. They have the custom newspaper as the shoe paper. They have a custom dust bag, the Empire State and Skyline instead of the Nike tick, the NARS quote on the inside of the tongue, and the New York subway on the insole. So that was just a few of the brands which have really been popping in 2020 with the whole bootleg sneakers. And actually bootleg sneakers have been going around for a while now, as I mentioned in the intro, probably to around 20 to 25 years. And now we're going to jump into some of the history of the bootleg sneakers, because people just think they just started in 2020 when they've actually been going around for years. So going back to the early 2000s, Nigo from Bape actually started maybe the whole bootleg sneaker trend. When you think about it, the Bapestas are literally using the Air Force One popular silhouette and making their own custom shoe. It pretty much is a bootleg sneaker. However, because it was so popular, the designs are really sick and it came across as more luxury. It is now accepted in the streetwear culture world. I absolutely love Bapestas, but when you think about it, it's exactly the same as like a bootleg Jordan 1. It's just because he's got the branding behind him and the reputation behind him. And that's why I think it's really creative and unique that Nigo kind of used one of Nike's most popular silhouettes in culture to create his own unique design and make profit on that. And then moving on to 2006, there was a skateboard brand called Consolidated. They made like their own, they're called the Nike Drunks, like they made like the Nike Dunks, but they called them the Nike Drunks, and they basically, instead of the Nike tick, they put a banana. I personally don't like these, but it's quite funny how they like made their own creative designs and kind of followed on with the whole bootleg culture, and these shoes were really profitable as well. Then moving on to one of the biggest things in the bootleg sneaker history, and that is this designer called Ari Foreman. he basically created the Ari Menthol 10s, and what they were is a bootleg shoe of the Nike Dunks, and it was a collaboration between two huge corporations. It was a Nike as well as the big tobacco brand Newport with their cigarettes, and they're called the Menthol 10s because for the box he used a menthol cigarette package and then he put his own like branding on it, and then for the Nike tick he used the Newport logo, which is like an upside down Nike tick. And he created the Menthol 10s, and he only released 252 pairs, which is a full like sample size run. He sold them in Alive and they sold out, and they are actually worth so much now. The reason being why they're worth so much is he did so much for the sneaker culture, because he actually, well, Nike weren't really happy with it, but they didn't do anything. Whereas Newport, they literally did more than a cease and desist. He literally got sued for it. He's now not even allowed to own a pair. He's had to burn all of the old pairs, which is quite sad to see because he made such a creative shoe and it was probably such good branding for Newport. And the reason why the documentary is so like insightful is he did it as like a case study, and the reason why he did the cigarette brand, and it was kind of like a juxtaposition because he hated cigarettes with the story about his mum. But I'll leave the link for the Vice documentary in the description box below. I definitely recommend checking it out. It's so insightful, and a huge shout out to Ari Foreman for what he did for the bootleg sneaker community. But speaking of the non-menthols and bootleg sneakers, it wouldn't be a good video if I didn't show you one of them in person. So I actually won a giveaway from the Seiiki Lab, which I showed as one of the brands previously, and they basically made their own creation of the kind of non-menthols. So as you can see, this is the nice box. We have the Seiiki right there, and then to go inside, he's basically made the Menthol 10s but a red pair. So as you can see, it has like the Newport Nike tick. I really hope he doesn't get sued by Newport. We have the yellow laces, the red, we have the suede, and then we have the gum sole. Like, these actually feel exactly the same as like a Nike Dunk. Like, the quality of the leather, the suede is so buttery, and yeah, let's put these on. So we're now coming to the end of this video on the whole bootleg sneakers, and we're going to jump into my personal opinion and a little bit of a discussion with you lot. Me personally, I absolutely love bootleg sneakers. I just think they're really creative, and the designers really push the boat out with their creativity. For example, like Fugazi with the bullet holes on the toe cap. We have Ray with his New York Jordan 1s. We have like the Statue of Liberty. We have like the Ore Times newspaper inside of the shoebox, as well as the insole being like the train line. Like, that is just amazing. Like, when you see them little details, you can really invest into the shoe as well as the designer, because they put so much thought and time and effort into making that piece, and it just shows much more appreciation. And they're actually really good quality, as you saw from the ones I showed from the Seiiki Lab, and I really think it's like a cool like concept for the whole culture, especially like that whole story I talked about with Ari Foreman. And as I spoke about earlier, Bapestas have been going around for years and they're still super popular. I can understand why people don't like them, because people are profiting using another brand's shoe, but these big companies are already making so much profit, so I generally don't think it matters too much. And these small designers aren't bringing out like thousands and thousands of pairs. They're bringing out like a very small quantity, so only people who really appreciate the shoe get a chance to purchase them. But I want to hear your personal opinions in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and to put on that notification bell, because I do loads of videos revolving around men's fashion. I post 1 to 2 times every single week. But have a nice day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.